Good morning. There's lots of chatting going on. I see there's much chatting. What a wonderful place to be with all this chat. Yeah. See yourselves over there. Good morning. I'm Donna Ruvlo. I'm a member of the First Church Parish Board, and I would love to welcome you all to our 10 o'clock summer service. If this is your first time here, or you're not first time here, it is wonderful to see you, and a very, very special welcome to our friends from First Parish in Cambridge. Thank you. Announcements are a little light this morning, but here we go. It is August, and if you have not signed up for Sandy Island, your small group ministry, the choir, the senior choir or the junior choirs, or the musical, you gotta do it now. Like, it's now, you've gotta do it. And I do have an audio visual with me today. This is a former science fair project, which I looked at the other day and said, Tin Woodsman. So, here's the thing, you don't have to have kids in the musical to participate as a volunteer. You could be making costumes, or Cambridge people, you do not need to live in Belmont to send young people, grands, neighbors over to the Wizard of Oz. It's gonna be a fabulous, fabulous show. Other things happening in the community is our Friday night standouts are going really, really well. Every Friday night, there is from 5 to 6 p.m., there is a group out in front of the church holding signs, waving to cars, getting lots of beeps and honks in support of democracy and against tyranny. This has been going on since the winter when Minneapolis was in crisis, and will probably be going on for the next 2.5 years. So you are welcome to join us 5 to 6 p.m. on Fridays. Next Sunday, we will have our former intern minister, who was here at First Church Belmont, Kyle Belmont, who is now in Watertown. Kyle will be preaching on punctuation. I don't know how that comes up at Divinity School, but that's our Kyle. And you know what? He gives a terrific sermon. So please be here. In Cambridge, you're welcome back too. You know, you can come back any Sunday. And now, I'm sorry, if I'm saying something somewhat spiritual, I'll put the audio visual down. Take a deep breath. Please center yourself in this wonderful place, surrounded by this abundant love. Come, let's worship together.
I was disappointed. I thought you were going to play that.
Yeah.
Hello. So, Richard asked me to play the song I just wrote a few months ago, and I wrote it about a trip that my wife Laura and I took in 1990 when we went to England, and we walked from Dover to Kent, and they have all these nice little country paths that you can walk on. They're all well maintained, and it's just a really nice way to see the country. So, just hope walking's fun. Walking from town to town, I'm walking, learning to slow down, I'm walking, powered by my own 2 feet, I stop and chat with the folks I meet, we're walking, just walking, singing songs along the way, walking, playing my harmonica, walking. Time to think and meditate, and all the fresh air feels so great out walking. Just horses, sheep, and goats and cows. I can tell how the crops are doing now. Out walking, just walking. Cars and planes and bikes and trains all have their time and place. Just feels so much nicer to move at a human pace. When I reach my destination, walking, share some food and conversation, walking. All that healthy exercise, I sleep like a log when I close my eyes from walking. Just walking, walking from town to town, I'm walking, learning to slow down, I'm walking. Powered by my own 2 feet, I stop and chat with the folks I meet. We're walking, just walking. Yeah, we're walking, just walking.
Mativna, buen camino, good morning. Please join me in saying, life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. Now please rise as you are able and join us in song number 207, Earth Was Given as a Garden.
Earth was given as a Thank you, Richard. I am going to read a poem about pilgrimage written by Richard Waring. But since I'm up here in the front at the podium, I'm going to, for myself and maybe for others, ask all of those who were on the pilgrimage to Scotland to please stand. Stand now, because I want the rest of you, as you go through this service, to know that we are the group that spent this time together in this very meaningful journey. And personally, it's wonderful to see you all. There are some who are not here, and we miss them as well. So you can sit down now. Thank you for indulging me. So Richard, as you know, Richard Waring is a poet, and he was one of the pilgrims, and on many of us spent quite a bit of time on the trail by ourselves. We did talk to each other for portions, but a lot of time was spent in solitude. And Richard, from my observation, spent a fair amount of his solitude sitting on a log with a journal and a pencil or pen and jotting down his thoughts. So this poem, I believe, was born of that process. To be a pilgrim, walk out of your body and into the mountain. Read the landscape as sacred text, a topography of promise. Pilgrimage is an imaginary path with real stones in it. We usually, as Alan Watts said, don't look. We overlook. Become the trail, the walker, the story, the song of the land. I am happy as an apple shellacked by rain, buffed by wind, shined by the sun. I put my unbridled shoulder to the way of hope.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, First Church, Belmont. Thank you, Richard, for inviting me to say a few words. Having celebrated Sophia's ordination here, and after a wee walk through the Highlands with many of you, I feel less like a guest and more like family. 24 intrepid souls overcame family loss, personal injuries, delayed flights, and countless other obstacles to gather in a suburb of Glasgow, ready to walk many miles each day. That we all arrived felt almost miraculous. Once together, there was no stopping us. We walked without rushing to arrive. As our friendships deepened, each mile became less about reaching the next stop and more about being together. Even during periods of silence, we remained attentive to one another. On the first morning, I stopped in amazement. Others paused too, wondering what had caught my eye. Before us stood an extraordinary hawthorn tree. Its small clusters of 5-petaled white blossoms filled the air with a sweet fragrance of vanilla and anises. Long after we left Scotland, that fragrance remained for many of us, the scent of the pilgrimage. Its long horizontal branches stretched outward like welcoming arms. Along their tops, lichens had grown thick over decades, supporting mosses that gathered enough organic matter for ferns and other plants to take root. The hawthorn had become more than a tree. Its branches, supporting more than 20 distinct communities of lichens, mosses, ferns, and flowering plants that could not have existed without it. As the days passed, I realized we were becoming the hawthorn. Each of us brought our own stories, questions, joys, and burdens. Yet together, we became a place where others could grow, away from the relentless pace of daily life, the endless news cycle. We found time to listen deeply, to laugh easily, and to wonder together. Like the hawthorn, we became more than ourselves by supporting one another. Then came the final day. We were expected to walk 15 miles, only to discover our hotel lay another 3 miles beyond the official end of the trail. Surprisingly, the extra distance scarcely mattered. Our legs kept walking, but our hearts welcomed one last gift: more time together in Scotland's ancient living landscape. That may have been the pilgrimage's greatest lesson. The journey mattered more than the destination. Pilgrimage is not simply walking to a sacred place. It's allowing the journey to change us. We returned home not with all the answers, but with a deeper sense of belonging to one another, to creation, and to the sacred. Perhaps that is what it means to be a pilgrim.
You know, each morning we must hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, and to give back. The morning offering will now be given and received. And while that is happening, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to sing a song a cappella, okay? It's a vulnerable thing to do. However, there's a little bit of a story behind it. It relates to our journey, our pilgrimage. And there came a point where a bull was stretched across the trail. On either side were the calves. That bull was protecting those calves. I couldn't go around. I couldn't certainly go through. What do? I looked behind me. There was no one else. I looked in front of me. There was no one else. I was totally alone with a bull. So I thought to myself, I'll do something wacky. And I came up with this song that I heard Allen Ginsberg sing at Passim a number of years ago. The words are by William Blake, with an ending by Allen Ginsberg. And when I get to the end, it'll be 4 lines repeated, and I'll ask you to sing along. Now, I wanted to sing this song at one of our evening gatherings on the pilgrimage, and everyone was like, oh, maybe next time. We've run out of time. So here we are today. You're not going anywhere. How bad can it be? It's called The Nurse's Song. When the voices of children are heard on the green. Oh, and I should mention, the bull, when it's heard me singing, was like, loony poet singer, no problem, no harm can be done. We'll move right aside, let you go. When the voices of children are heard on the green, and laughing is heard on the hill, my heart is at rest within my breast, and everything else is still. Then come home, my children, the sun is gone down, and the dews of night arise. Come, come, leave off play, and let us away, till the morning appears in the skies. No, no, let us play, for it is yet day, and we cannot go to sleep. Besides, in the sky the little birds fly, and the hills are all covered with sheep. Well, well, go and play till the light fades away, and then go home to bed. The little ones leaped and shouted and laughed, and all the hills echoed, 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 and all the hills echoed. Please rise as you are able for our doxology.
This final candle is for each and every one of us as we all hold things in our heart that are too tender to express, and know that the beautiful power of our community will hold us, and we need not face these alone.
And now I invite you into a deepening breath. Allow all that has been shared settle into your mind and heart, and we'll hold silence together for a few moments. In the quiet of this holy place, surrounded by this abundant love, welcomed and cherished just as we are, here together we pray and we give thanks. In this too divided and fractured world, we give thanks for this connection, for pilgrimages of all sorts, for putting us in the way of hope, for this knowing, for this extended hand. In this complex and confusing time, we give thanks that we are looked after rather than overlooked, for the clear voice of our knowing, calling us back to our deepest and truest selves. Here, together, we pray for one another, for this world, for all beings. May we be well, may we know peace, may we remember all that is life-giving and true. And now I will do an encore performance of what we heard in the candles. I feel like that was a sermon in itself. However, we might not have listened to it all, so I will repeat what we have experienced on this pilgrimage. As you may know, pilgrim has its roots in the Latin peregrum, through the fields. In The Art of Pilgrimage, Phil Cosino writes that a curious soul who walks beyond known boundaries is a pilgrim, with a destination in mind and a purpose in a heart. The wanderer begins to walk, talk, listen, see, hear, write, draw, and become one's soul-deep desire, an instrument of observation. It's different travel than a walk in the park. This is news of the day, as in the acronym NEWS, North, East, West, South. There is intentionality, openness to one's landscape, admitting all the small beauties along the way. As Alan Watts pointed out, which I stole from my poem, we usually don't look, we overlook. A pilgrim is a wayfarer, a saunterer. A pilgrim sees the world not through the eyes of entertainment, but as a quest for spiritual strengthening. In his essay, Walking, Thoreau explains that saunter has two possible derivations. One is people going to the Holy Land, or la Sainte Terre, are said to be sont terrors, which became saunterers. Another is sans terre, or people without land who could find home anywhere. John Muir took things one step further. People, he said, ought to saunter in the mountains, not hike. These mountains are our holy land, and we ought to saunter through them reverently, not hike through them. For those who saunter on the Camino de Santiago, the reasons for reverence are many. A thanksgiving for a blessed life, a recovery from a life-threatening illness, a prayer for friends or loved ones in this life or the next. As nurse practitioner Jeannie O'Farrell put it after walking the way of St. James, I am grateful for thought-provoking and reflective conversation and periods of companionable silence. I observed that our El Camino tour group became a beloved community, one that provided safety and belonging, just what we needed to share with one another as we blended our spiritual intentions for the pilgrimage with the physical discipline of the walking. Jean recalled, quote, meditating on the rows of vibrant green corn sprouts and the ancient stone walls with tiny flowers and spikes of ruby red foxglove that consistently towered like lighthouses over the many miles, rest stops to fortify, twilight journeys to see the world's end sunset, waterways and drinking springs sprouting from the mountain's heart, bright faces and happy destinations where the anti-inflammatory benefits of beer capped a days-long quest. to rest and recoup before the starting silence of the next day's discoveries. So how do you approach a pilgrimage? Well, each day you can set an intention, enjoy a pertinent reading, and observe a centering practice. Each night you can share an unfolding reflection with fellow journeyers. The French word for day, jour, goes into the word journey, a nod to the distance traveled in one day. Intentions can flow from mindful attention, gratitude and blessing, silence and solitude, grief and healing, letting go, lost and found, new perspectives to bring back home, and much more. The road can be long with many windings. You will likely sacrifice comfort, familiarity. Sacrifice comes from the Latin, of course, sacrificia, making sacred. What do you give up to make a sacred journey? Jesus told his disciples to go with as little as possible, no extra tunic or pair of sandals. Go hungry to be marked by the real. Go focused on the mission, relying on God's abundance. Tourists go through places on a bucket list. Pilgrims let places go through them, transforming the ordinary into the holy. A pilgrim blazes a trail of kindness dependent on the goodwill of others. In The Living Mountain, Nan Shepherd talks about learning to go into the hills of Scotland aimlessly, quote, merely to be with the mountain as one visits a friend, with no intention but to be with him. Presence replaces summit fever. A pilgrim contents herself with looking along and inward to mystery where a mountaineer longs to look down and outward onto total knowledge. The pilgrim is in continual traffic between the outer landscape of the world and the inner landscape of the spirit. In John Muir's words, going out is really a going in. I'm reminded of the great Tenzing Norgay, Sherpa to Edmund Hillary on Mount Everest. While Hillary, a Brit, wanted to conquer the world's tallest peak, Norgay, a Tibetan Buddhist, sought to sit in the lap of the mountain goddess. The same act requires either brazen fortitude or a devotional blessing, perhaps both. One final departure. Nan Shepherd writes of walking with brilliant young people who talk, entertaining, witty, and incessant, left me weary and dispirited because the mountain didn't speak to me. She craves to be emptied of preoccupation, where there is nothing between me and the earth and the sky. It is a profound harmony deepening into something that resembles trance. She discovers most nearly what it is to be. She says, I have walked out of the body and into the mountain. See, I also stole that from my poem. This is, if you're creative, it's not a crime. It's, anyway. I'm reminded of the Australian scholar Geoffrey Blaney, who writes of the Aborigines. The land itself was their chapel, and their shrines were hills and creeks, and their religious relics were animals, plants, and birds. Thus, the migrations of the Aboriginals, though spurred by economic need, were also always pilgrimages. Their ties to the land are so strong that I've heard of a group of Aboriginal elders who met in a supermarket by the fruits and vegetables because the store was built on the site where they always gathered. To lose a place is to lose knowledge. Robert McFarlane writes, "We think differently in different landscapes, and therefore, more radically, that certain thoughts might be possible only in certain places, such that when we lose these places, we are losing kinds of imagination as well." That's why Native and Indigenous people struggle so hard to persevere on and preserve their ancestral land. They are determined not to be lost souls. The surrounding landscape, as the ancient elders knew, is a sacred text. A pilgrimage is a journey into being. For the recent pilgrimage along the West Highland Way this past May, our brave band of 24 UUs from Belmont and Cambridge congregations walked 85 or so of its 96 miles. Created in 1980 out of old military roads and stonework built by hand, the West Highland Way is Scotland's most famous long-distance trail, starting at Mulgai and ending at Fort Williams, where I was sad to learn there is no fort, only ruins. Anyone else? It gets wilder and more mountainous as you move north, encompassing low farlands, beatific shores of Loch Lomond, passing beneath Connick Hill, where we got to see a 360-degree view of fog. Rugged and remote Rannoch Moor, climbing Devil's Staircase, and finishing with cloud-free, stunning views of Ben Nevis. Along the way, we encountered blisters, back spasms, sheep and bulls blocking the path, and alpine flowers that not only survived the harsh winter, but the Ice Age. Birch and rowan trees were plentiful, and the foxgloves that accompanied us on the Camino in full bloom were preparing to do the same here. In one spectacular spot, bluebells completely covered a mountainside. Also along the way were honesty boxes, named Ben's boxes after Ben Novus, where you could find fresh-baked goods to purchase and useful items like the sitting pad I admired that a young man from the Netherlands had found in one. I found a pair of sunglasses on a wire fence that helped me through the uncharacteristically sunny last 2 days, and at trail's end left them on a wire fence for someone else. The Cambridge and Belmont congregations are now woven fine with woe and joy. Christian's blister was treated by Eleanor, and when Eleanor suffered severe back pain, Barry, the other doctor in our midst, supported her every step, like Fred Astaire dancing backwards with Ginger Rogers. To a rest stop where Annie provided therapeutic massage that allowed Eleanor to walk 10 miles the next day. Karen put in the most miles, having joined us after 2 weeks on the Camino with an all-women's group. Kilt-clad Michael was most likely to take in an extra mountain ascent long before I got up for breakfast. Revs Chris and Rob nurtured our spirits with poems and daily intentions, as well as gentle encouragement as our spirits sagged. Haggis and beer sustained us at journey's end each day, and the possibilities of Scotch whiskey as the amber sun slowly descended at around 9 or 10 at night. Rob Moore delighted us with song one evening. I didn't get a chance to do it then, but you've heard it now. And as he and I learned from our third roommate, Barry, in true UU style, we all three snore equally. And it's not a problem. We now talk about missing those close connections that we established and furthered, and are determined to reunite periodically for hikes and meal times. Our going out, as John Muir observed, was indeed a going in, and we have been given a great gift for which we are grateful. And here is my first ever poem, written in Scotland, called Loch Lomond. Scotland's answer to Montana, with its congregation of hills, has left me bog-javelled for words. Between the stag moss and call of the long-tailed tit, birch needs rain to release its odor, and the day provides. Lichened stone and the angelic inflorescence of alpine flowers both survived the Ice Age, and has me mindful of the ease I'm having along the West Highland Way. If I go astray, the error, as Joyce would have it, is only another portal of discovery. The sun-spangled mica shows me a new way into both landscape and inscape. I empty myself of all that is between me and the earth and sky. Blessed be. Amen. And now I invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit, and join in our closing hymn, Rising Green, number 1068, in the Teal Hymnal.
Like the
May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know, once again, that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. And we extinguish this flame, but we keep the light in our hearts with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again.